something special. We actually had the chance, I would say, at the beginning to score the first goal. Then we've been a little bit naive conceding the first penalty. The first half was actually okay. They found a great goal with a great pass for Vela. So at the end of the first half, it was almost impossible thinking about scoring 5 goals. Making some rotation, even trying something different with the back three in the second half. So yeah, the experience in the Champions League has been fantastic, and we want to be here next year too. So now it's up to us to do a fantastic league or a fantastic Canadian Championship or the League Cup, because this was our first dance, and the first dance, maybe you're a little bit even shy to ask someone to dance. And next year we are ready. We learn some moves that we are ready to go for next year.
Questions? I know no team is unbeatable. Everyone can be beat, but do you see any weaknesses in this LAFC team? They seem to be strong. Everybody.
Yeah, they're a very good team. But to be honest, I think in Vancouver we deserve more, and we could have scored first. And 60 minutes we were better than them, and we could have scored. What they have is that they can suffer, and then they have so much quality that even when they look in trouble with 25-second action, I don't know, Buanga dribble 2 men, or maybe Tillman find the great pass for Vela, or Vela. So having great players for sure help them. But I think I'm impressed by the way they're humble and they're disciplined when they defend, because sometimes they have to defend. And so I would say hats off to Steve and his staff because they are doing a great job.
And just on that topic, what makes LAFC so hard to break down? Because you've had possession, the majority of that first half, right? But it's in that middle third, and it's not creating a ton of chances, it seems. What makes them so hard to break down? Well,
they have to, again, I think that we could have done better. We had 2 chances to score 2 goals, and we didn't do it. So McCarthy made a great save even in the first game in Vancouver. So I think they have, again, they're really good in the 1v1 battles. They are a team that they all, I would say, talk about how skillful they are. I'd like to talk about how powerful they are. In the 1v1 battle, they're so powerful that are really hard to beat. So we really need to beat them through playing. And we did it a couple of times. Unfortunately, we haven't been clinical in the box. And you can't afford this against a team that is good like this. And, I think the 6-0 on aggregate is a little bit too harsh on us. I think we deserve a little more, but they deserve to qualify for sure.
Thank you. Vanni, another LAFC question. I hope you don't mind.
It's okay. Hey, I'm a guest.
Before the first leg, you called them the best team in North America.
Yes.
And Steve took that as, sort of from you as a compliment, but obviously thought maybe you were buttering them up a little bit.
No,
Do you see the best team in North America? Is that a fair? Why do you believe that? Really?
I believe that because again, they are complete. They have today, guys. They have on the bench Cifuentes and Chiellini, so that's just the thing that, and also again, it's I would say again credit to the work of Steve, because it's not just a collection of stars. This is a team, and of course from now on, I hope that it's either them or Philadelphia to win the cup, because we want to. We are all part of MLS, and we want MLS to be. Let's say the best league in North America, and I think we are. And since they are the best team in this league, I always say that in the Western Conference, I think they're the only team that are better than us. That doesn't mean that we are the second team. We are in contention with other teams, but yeah. I hope I will come back again here for the regular season, but I hope that I'll come here back for the playoff, because it means that we're going further. And maybe if we have to win one game, maybe it's better to win the playoff game against them.
Question from the floor. Thank you.
Just quickly on the starting 11, you made a decision to not play Takaoka and also Tristan Blackman came off the bench, a very important player in the past here at LAFC. Could you talk about the decision on your starting 11 and a little bit about Tristan and his importance for your club?
Tristan is critical important. He's like the reason why he didn't start, that him and Ranko, that they played every game basically as a spare center back. I wanted they wanted them to share the game, and I wanted Tristan to play the second half because I'm an optimist. I said if we win 3-0, Tristan can be one of a penalty taker. So that's the reason why he played the second half and instead of the first half. No, it's like we knew. I think he grew a lot in this year and a half with us, in the sense that he came being a very good player. Now is a leader. He's a leader of our team, and you know, he did very well in his years here, and I envision a good future for him in Vancouver. He's doing very well. Last year in the back three, this year in the back four. So I'm very happy with this performance this season.
We'll go to online questions now.
Thanks, Nathan. Hold on, we're going to try to do Harjahal. 1 second, guys.
Hey guys, good evening. I hope you can hear me. Coach, I have some more questions about your lineup because it seemed to cause a lot of chatter. So I was wondering, why did Vite, Gressel, and Simon not start, knowing that you needed to score 3 goals going into that game? Some interesting decisions you made.
Yeah, that we, first of all, they were all polite. Then the Vancouver press is literally kicking me immediately. But anyway, it's yeah, no, the reason why it's because, you know, we had a lot of games and we had to manage player. We saw with what happened also with Andres in the last game and everything. So we wanted to approach the first half in a way that was very aggressive, with 2 very offensive fullbacks like Raposo and Ahmed, and then having a front 3 with Caicedo, Dahome, and White. So, you know, we was good players there, and then making some change accordingly at the end of the first half. Unfortunately, we were down at the end of the first half, so the changes that we made were also in relation to, let's say, not use a lot of players that they already used, did a lot of minutes, like, for example, Gold, for example, the home at Deiber, for example, Ranko Deiber was capped at 45 minutes. So that's the reason why.
I'll give you a quick, easy one here. Is Julian going to be called up by the US for their game next week?
I think the official thing is tomorrow, but if you see, I don't say anything because I can't, but if you see me, that's what's gonna happen.
I see you, Coach. Thank you. Safe travels home.
Nick Wells, go ahead.
Brian, do you have any other questions online?
Nope. Hey, Coach. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on, I guess, the kind of offensive output from your team today.
It could have been better. The first half, I think we were doing very well in the build-up with 4 and 3. The 3 guys up top, they didn't attack the space like I wanted them to do. Especially on the left side, I think that Daho could have attacked more the back of Palacio and be more aggressive there. So they left Brian sometimes by himself, and that was one of the reasons why we didn't score in the first half. The second half, it was a little bit of a new front 3 because it was JC, Pedro, and Brian, and you know, it was more. The game was a little bit more frantic, I would say, in the second half. but we could have done better in the first half. That's also one of the reasons why we changed the two number 10s at the end of the first half. So that's again, we have to use this game and what we did well and we didn't do well in order to keep improving and keep trying to score points in the league. And I am a little bit, I don't want to say disappointed, but I thought that in the second half, some guys could have pushed more, some of the guys that came on, because when we gave you a chance to play and to show that you're in contention for Saturday, for the jersey of Saturday, we should have done better.
The win tonight. Tell us about how you're feeling now that you've gotten this franchise into its second Concacaf Champions League semifinal, chance to collect another trophy. Great aggregate win, 6-0.
Yeah, our objective tonight was to advance into the next round. We're happy with that. I'm also happy and pleased with the performance, especially over 2 legs. Last round we achieved very good performance in leg 1. Leg 2 was so-so, but this round, we had 2 strong performances. So I'm very pleased with that. I'm pleased with the progression of the team, and it's a competition we really want to continue on in. And if we have a chance to win, we would love that. But the semifinals will be very tough. All of the teams left in the tournament are quite strong. So it becomes much closer, but we're looking forward to the challenge and opportunity.
Hi, Coach. Congratulations on advancing. Despite obviously having El Tráfico at the weekend, you put out a very strong lineup, up 3-0 already in aggregate. Should we take from that this is the priority? Concacaf Champions League is the goal right now, and then once it's over, maybe you switch to MLS, or what should we take from that strong lineup that you put out despite all of those circumstances?
You can read into it as much as you want and whatever you want. That's your job. We try to win games, as many as possible, and there's plenty of time to recover before the Galaxy game. We don't play till Sunday.
Okay, and then it looks like a lot of the success that you had going forward was just playing the ball over the top, bypassing the midfield a lot of the time. Was that a game plan, or just how the game played out?
Sometimes it kind of is what the opponent presents in that moment. And, we try to train our players in a way with principles and habits, and they can use what tools that they have and they've learned in training in those moments in the game. So to think of as a toolbox, and the bigger the better. And if they recognize which tool is right at that moment, then we look good. And that's what we try to do, and that's how we try to train the boys. And tonight they did found the space in behind. It was talked about prior to the game. Vancouver had to come out and do something, so they cannot cover everything and they can't just sit back and be passive. They had to come forward a little bit. So yes, we did talk about the space in behind, but that is a part of our game model, regardless of today's match and the matchup with second leg and aggregate and all that.
Steve, 4th straight clean sheet for you guys. I mean, so much talk about the firepower and the offense, but 4 straight shutouts, it seems like a pretty big deal. How do you feel about the cohesion defensively in the unit, and just the results you're getting seem to be pretty effortless, although they're not, but they appear that way. How do you feel about the rhythm that you're in?
We feel very good, but it's also a time to try to improve. It's an easy moment to teach and to learn and to accept criticism, and that's what we're trying to do. I thought the defensive performance in the first 25 minutes was not very good. We just kept backing up and dropping and trying to find safety in numbers, which is not the way we want to play, and actually got pretty lucky in the 5th minute to not go down a goal. And we talked about it at half, and the improvements were there right away. We're back to our way of defending in football, and I don't think we conceded a shot in the second half. So that's what we wanted to see. But yeah, we're very pleased with keeping a clean sheet over a few weeks now, and that is, as far as I know in this game, and the recipe to success is to defend well and at moments be effective in front of goal.
following up on that, Steve, you were a defender. And people look at this team, they see Boanga and Carlos and all, all the offensive firepower, as you said. Do you think people sleep a little bit on your defense and you're not really getting the credit for being as good defensively as you have been?
I'm not sure. I think that's a question for others, but I do know we have some amazing defenders. 4 very good center backs, 3 incredible outside backs. All of them could be starters. And obviously George has played at the highest level for a very, very long time and sees things a step or 2 ahead. And other players see that as well and feed off of that. And so, yeah, we have very talented individual players, but we also try to connect the dots between our back line, our midfield, and our attackers to have answers defensively as a collective in every portion of the field, whether we're higher up, in the middle, or deep in our own end. And the players have seemed to understand that and which moment of the game we're in and which defensive tactics we need for that moment, with the exception, again, for the first 20 minutes today. But I think that had a little bit to do with the moment and then Vancouver throwing a lot of numbers forward. But for the most part, we've had a lot of answers this season defensively, and that's something we will continue to work on. It's a game of habits, and if you stop doing it, players will stop doing it on the field. So we will continue. I can promise you that as the next defender, we will continue to work defensively. I know my players aren't always fond of it, but I think they're also reaping the benefits.
And John, 6 saves.
Yeah, he came up big early, and it's very important for us to have a keeper in goal. And in Vancouver, I think 19th, 20th minute, Tristan Blackman had a pretty decent look after a set piece. John made a big save to keep it 0-0. Otherwise, this whole series looks a little different then. So yeah, having a keeper in goal who's there when we need him, which is the key at LAFC, you're not going to get a whole lot of looks or chances to look good, which is how we prefer it. But when we've needed him, he's been there.
Coach Vanni didn't really, he praised your work with his team. He said it's easier to play when you have Sifu and Chiellini on the bench, but he also said that you've done an excellent job in getting all the stars to play cohesively together. What do you feel is that you brought to this team that has turned it around and has really made it very hard to beat? What is your personal touch to this success?
Yeah, I think that's maybe a question for the players, but I don't like to talk about my own personal work. What I can tell you is that we treat all of the players as people and human beings first, and maybe football players second. So what they do on the field and what we ask of them in tactics is secondary. I think everybody enjoys their time here at LAFC. Everybody comes to work with a smile. And that goes a long way in building relationships and then connecting certain players with other players and building small groups. But generally speaking, my staff and I, we love to build relationships with the players. And we all understand that not every player likes to hear my voice. Not every player likes to hear Mark's voice or Ante's or Oka's. And so we try to find the ones who we pair up well with. And judging by my players' faces week in and week out and their performances, I think we aren't the worst choices for them as coaches. What's going on out there? Of course, we're in America.
All right, one more. Thank you.
Sorry, Steve, me again. I just wanted to ask you, how is it the guys are able to sort of focus so easily on such a quick turnaround? You just played on Saturday, you got another game Tuesday, you have a traffic go on Saturday, how are the guys able to mentally be able to handle so many games in this congested schedule?
It's a good question. I think that has to do with experience in the locker room. I think we have a lot of players who have done this before. That helps. I believe the way we are tactically and physically loading players helps in those regards. At the right moments, giving the players the information they need, and also at the right moments, taking the information away and letting them just enjoy and recover. And so keeping a close eye on that, which means we observe a lot, see how players are mentally and physically. Is it a learning day? No. Is it a loading day? Maybe, or is it a recovery day? And so far, it's been quite organic or homogenic with the group, that we've all been kind of on the same page, and that's really important. And we'd like to finish this week with a strong note.
Last question on the Zoom.
Go ahead, Philippe Vallejo.
Coach, Vancouver came out with quite an attacking and unorthodox lineup. Were you expecting such a lineup? And if not, how did you adjust to it so that you could exploit it as much as you did in this match?
Yeah, it was an offensive lineup. There had a lot of attacking players in the field. They threw numbers forward first. We did expect that. Not the names, but we certainly did expect them to play on their front foot, and to try to pin us down and to score early. They had to, and so we did expect that. We expected some space in transition, which we also exposed for the first penalty. But yeah, the names are always a surprise. But the way we play, and our focus a little bit on transition tonight, seemed to be the correct recipe for their all-out attack in the first 20 minutes. And I think after we scored one goal, it kind of took the wind out of their sails, and then it was quite manageable after that.
And with such statement wins that you are now putting out, how do you plan to deal with the growing pressure that comes from being called the best team in Concacaf, as Coach Vanni puts it, as you continue to succeed in multiple competitions?
It's an opinion of others. We don't really, I personally really don't. I mean, obviously I respect Vanni and his opinions and our conversations, but the best team in Concacaf is the one that wins the Champions League, and nobody's won that yet. So right now it's Seattle, because they won it last year. So we still have a lot of work to do. We are constantly trying to get better, and win games, and try to keep ourselves in all the competitions we're in, MLS, Champions League, soon Open Cup, and so forth. So any competition we're in, we're trying to stay in it and go as far as we can, and to win as many matches as possible. I think for us, it's important not to look back at what we've done, and always look forward and keep trying to improve, because the reality is we still can improve. And myself, I can speak for myself and the staff, we won't stop until we get to the point where we'll all sit here and say, all right, we're at our limit, but we're not there yet.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, everybody, play.